welcome back everyone to episode 4 of the Off the Bench podcast with your host Kobe and Aiden. Today we are going to be talking about current playoff matchups. We're going to be talking about our top 5 underrated and overrated players. We're going to do 2 start bench cuts to kick us off, and we're going to do a quick little Fight Night recap from the previous weekend.
Leon Edward breaking my heart.
Yep.
Absolutely breaking it.
But Kevin Holland won.
Yeah,
That's what matters.
no, what matters is
That's what matters.
they are lost, but we need to get started.
Nah, let's go.
Going to the NBA to start today. What we're starting with.
So we're going to start off with some start bench cuts today.
Can't like it.
All right, let me hit you with one off the bat. Start bench cut.
Go.
Devin Booker, Anthony Edwards, Donovan Mitchell.
Okay. You know, fussy.
And we're not talking all time. We're talking this season.
Now, who would I pick?
Talking this season.
Let me just start off by saying it's lucky I picked 3 today and not 2 because I'm also had your choice. Yeah, so it's very lucky. But I did not just go with that one. So anyway, it was Donovan Mitchell and
Devin Booker.
I'm gonna start. This is hard.
This is a hard one. That's why I liked it. I thought this was a good one.
Okay. I'm going to start Anthony Edwards.
Yep.
I think he's just the best player.
Yeah.
Out of 3. Honest, I'm going to start here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bench Donovan.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to cut.
And you're going to cut Booker.
Yeah.
I would swap it. I would start here.
Yeah.
I would bench Booker. And I'd cut Mitchell.
Honestly, what changed my mind was when you said this season only.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, Donovan's having a better year. He's leading a team. Well, they're still the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Whereas Devin's fighting for a playing spot with KD, I understand.
One thing that I look at is Donovan Mitchell, out of the 3, I think has been the most inconsistent this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm taking that into account. So I would cut Mitchell.
Yeah.
I feel like this one, you can't really go wrong.
You can't
go
very close between the 2 of them. But for me, I'm going, and I think he's the clear one. No.
Mm-hmm.
Past 2 seasons, he's really come out and been amazing. So he's clear 1 for me. And then I had Donovan because of how he's leading his team.
Yep.
He's in top 5 now for the MVP race.
Yep.
And he has been very good for most of the year. He has had some bad games. But I don't think Donovan's played that well this year, like compared to how he normally plays.
I don't think he's had to, though, because of everyone that's around him, you know what I mean?
And for that to still be just a scragging playing team, it's bad. It's a bad look. Yeah, star bench cut for me to kick it off. I had Anthony Edwards, Donovan Mitchell, and Devin Booker.
Yeah.
All right, my turn for my first one.
All right, hit me.
Do you want my current one or my all-time one?
Let's go.
The current.
Yeah, hit me with the current.
I have, start bench cut, Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic.
I'm going to start Luka.
Yeah, I think I see it over here. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to start Luka.
I think this next one's harder than what people would think off the bat because it's this year.
I would bench KD and I'd cut Tatum. I think it's close.
It's close.
I think it's close, but I would lean KD over Tatum.
As a Celtics fan, I disagree.
Of course.
But if I wasn't a Celtics fan, I think I would be inclined to agree. KD, he's still having a pretty good year.
He's having a great season.
Like, he's still having a good year. I think he's there, KD.
Yeah. No, that was his performance yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this season, 27, 6, 4.5 assists, a steal, and a block, shooting 50, 40, 83.
Like, yeah, I think he's having a very good year. I think the only thing Jason Tatum has going for him is he is having a near MVP year, like nowhere near what Shea is having, but he's in that conversation of that 4th spot. That's what he had going for him.
I think if the Suns were more successful, then Kevin Durant would also be up there. Because, as bad as Phoenix has been, he is not the problem.
Yeah, he's not. But I do agree. I do tend to agree with you that it will go. Luka, clearly.
Yeah.
Is the best one, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Only KD and then...
And there's a Tatum.
Yeah. I would be inclined to agree with you, yeah.
All right, my second one for you.
Mm-hmm.
Steph,
Yeah.
Giannis, KD.
Steffi, Giannis, KD.
Yeah.
You're making this hard for me, man.
Yeah.
You got my favorite player on there. Yeah. Damn. Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start Giannis.
Yep.
And then bench Steph. I'm gonna cut KD.
Okay.
I know we just talked about KD having a really good year.
Yep.
But I think if I was picking a team,
Mm-hmm.
I would rather have Steph than I would KD.
Yeah.
I think his impact is just so good. The way he draws players, the way, like, I know his numbers don't look that good, but if you look at the games of play, he's hitting, until they got Jimmy, he was getting double and tripled as soon as he touched that ball.
Yeah.
Like, of course, his numbers weren't going to look good. Like, he did,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like, I was watching those games, and it was like, oh, Steph got the ball, and there's two right, like.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, what do you want the guy to do? Of course, he's not going to average a lot of points. But then since they got Jimmy, he's been really good.
He has been very.
And I think that's the Steph we're used to seeing because teams couldn't really double it because of the Jimmy effect.
Yeah.
So since what I've seen, since he hasn't been getting doubled the whole time, I would go Steph benched.
See, I'm going to take that into account because until they got Jimmy, he wasn't having the best season. The Warriors weren't having the best season.
So I was also getting doubled. Like, I was seeing what I saw watching it.
Yeah.
But like watching it, I was like, I can see why you're not.
No, I don't know. There was a couple of games, though, where he put up single-digit points. And if you're Steph Curry, you should at least be scoring 10 points. So I'm going to cut Steph. And I'd go Giannis, KD, and then I'd cut Steph.
Yeah. But as I did say before, Steph's my favourite player. So I can accept if there's a tiny little bias. But, yeah, I'll go Steph.
Yeah.
In the benched. I think Giannis is first. I think he's had an incredible year. He's pretty unlucky not being the MVP's conversations. I know it's about him because how good the other two are going, but pretty unlucky for him.
Yeah.
He's been so good.
I think he's been consensus top 5 all season. It's just that Jokic and Shea have just been playing way better. And then when
he's pretty much consensus top 3.
Yeah.
The whole season. Yeah, he's been very good. Moving on, we have my start bench cut. This is an all-time one.
Okay.
This is really fun.
Yep.
We have Allen Iverson.
Okay.
Dwayne Wade.
Yep.
James Harden.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I saw this one, it was my favorite. I was like, this is amazing.
Okay, no, that is good.
And I was like, yeah, we are doing this. I do not care.
So who was it? AI, Wade, Harden?
No.
Okay.
Wade, Harden.
I would go...
It's a hard one.
God, that is a hard one.
We're going to go on careers.
On careers?
Well, we can do it one of two ways. We can either go off their careers and who pretty much whose career would you rather have.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could go off them at their best, at their peak. Who would you rather have on your team?
No, we'll go careers.
Their careers, yeah.
I think for that I would go... God, this is a hard one. I think I'd go...
Get some stars up.
No, it's alright. I think I'd go Wade. I'd go Iverson, and then I'd go Harden.
Yeah, I would tend to agree, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the Harden, he won 2 MVPs. 2?
1.
Do you know
1, yeah. 2018.
Damn. I thought it was 1 too.
No.
So he's won 1 MVP, where he was averaging that 35 a game. I think for me, if I was doing this, the reason I cut him is how bad he was in the playoffs. In comparison at that period to how bad it was in the regular season. Like what, he would average 25 in the playoffs plus, but it just wasn't the same.
I think for me, I'm very big on defense. So that's why I'd lead Wade number 1 because he's by far the best defender of the 3.
Yeah.
And he's no slouch on offense, but he by far,
I think that's a real wise head of that's true.
Yeah, and then I'd go Iverson 2, and then I'd go Harden 3.
Well, that is interesting. Like, how good would White be?
Amazing. He was amazing.
Like 2006, how he was so good. Oh, I imagine him without envying his career. And AI got kind of unlucky. When it was in his prime, it was Kobe Shaq time.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you weren't really going to beat them.
No, well, he never really got the help he deserved.
No.
But
No Philly, but he was really good.
Oh, he was still amazing.
Like, I wish I got to watch it live.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
I mean,
that would have been nice.
No, we weren't even born yet when he was peak.
At his prime, yeah.
Like that, the final was running like 01. So, yeah, I tend to agree with you. I would have, what was it? Dwayne Wade, Allen Iverson, and then
James Harden.
Yes. Yeah, that would be my start bench card here.
That is a very good one, though. That was a good shout.
Very happy.
That was a good shout.
I did like that one. Yeah.
All right, moving on. Top 5 underrated and overrated players.
Yeah.
Let's start off with the underrated. Okay. Do you want to kick it off, or do you want me to start?
I can kick it off.
All right, let's go. Who do you have?
Okay. Top 5 underrated players. For me, I had Ty Jerome.
Well, actually, before we start, sorry to cut you off, but before we start, I view someone that's underrated as, they're having a great season, but they're just not getting enough attention as they deserve from like media, from wherever, right? Like you should be hearing about them more, but you just don't.
I take it like that. I also take it as a how much do I hear their name?
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Do I hear their name a lot? And if they're in conversations for awards, or if, like, for example, for me, like I have Ty Jerome, I think there should be more conversations.
Okay.
For that 6 minutes.
Okay.
That's a big reason for me.
Yeah.
So yes, I do have Ty Jerome, and my whole point is I think he should be in more conversation for 6 man of the year.
Yep.
Doesn't mean he has to win it, but I don't really hear his name. Like, no one talks there that much.
As a
potential winner.
No.
And
I feel like
the best team, like one of the best teams in the league.
The 6 man award in general, you haven't really heard a whole lot about this season.
No, but if someone,
unless you look into it.
If I went up to a random person who knew basketball really well, I went, oh, who's your 6 man? They're going to say
Malik Beasley.
Or Malik Beasley. They're not going to say another name. It was one of the two. And I think Ty Jerome's had a very good year.
He has a very good season.
He's been very good. I have Franz Wagner. Yeah. I'm going to say Jace.
Okay. Yeah.
Franz Wagner.
Yeah.
He's the number 2 option on the Magic. I know they're in the play-in. Is that in 24, 5 and 5?
He is a very good player.
And you don't actually hear anything about the guy.
Not really.
Like, you don't hear anything.
Not really. When it comes to the Magic, hear about Paolo. I think Paolo is slightly underrated.
He's on my list.
He is? Okay.
25, 7 and 5. He's the number 1 option. Had a really good year last year, getting the Magic in the playoffs. He's had a good year again. I think he's just not getting talked about because they're playing and they're not a playoff team.
And he's missed a lot of time.
He has.
He missed a lot of time with that oblique injury.
But I think he should be talked about a bit more.
Yeah.
One that, I mean, all time you wouldn't say is underrated, but this season, I think James Harden a bit.
No.
I think he's had a very
good year. I wouldn't go James Harden.
I think, as an underrated, yeah. I think he's had a very good year.
Last year, I would agree with you, because you didn't hear anything about him. He got snubbed from the All-Star team.
He doesn't really get talked about this year either.
But he does.
Not
especially with Kawhi being out most of the year. He's had a great season. I've heard about it a lot.
I haven't heard him very much.
Really?
I haven't heard, and that's why he's on my list, because I haven't heard much about him. And the way the Clippers are playing, they smashed. There he gets life. Good. Hopefully that comes back on. The way that the Clippers smashed Memphis this week, they just lost to OKC.
Yeah.
And he's the leader of that team right now.
No. Not the Kawhi's back. No chance.
Yeah.
No. Look at how we played against OKC compared to Kawhi.
Mentally, with Kawhi being out so much,
yeah,
you're in that team, you would naturally gravitate your leader being the guy who's there all the time. So right now he's still technically their leader until Kawhi has a substantial amount of time in the team. Like,
But
Kawhi
no.
comes straight in team middle leader.
But
there goes a lot.
But he's not coming straight to the team. He's been there for 3 years longer.
He's been injured so much.
But he's still there. Just because he doesn't mean he's not there.
I reckon James Harden has had an underrated season. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I disagree. I think last season, I would have agreed with you. He got snubbed from the All-Star team. He was having a great year. I think I've heard about him enough this year. He's having a good season.
He's having the season. And then number 5 for me, Dyson Daniels, because he should be more deeply in conversations.
Okay.
We talked about it last week.
Yeah.
I just think, like, it's hard being in deep conversation as a guard, but my whole thing is he's very good on the defensive end.
Yeah.
And I think he just should be in more conversations.
Yep.
That's why he is in my underrated list. That marks out my underrated list. Ty Jerome, Franz Wagner, James Harden, Paolo Becerra, and Dyson Daniels.
Okay. So I didn't have anyone that we talked about last week for any of the awards because I feel like we talked about them a lot. So,
Yeah.
I didn't want to talk about Malik Beasley again. I didn't want to talk about Dyson Daniels.
I'm not going to lie, I thought it was going to be Cody Cunningham, Malik Beasley.
No, and so I didn't want to talk about.
You were going to fit Shane to that list. I was going to lose it.
So I didn't want to talk about anyone that we talked about last week because I feel like we spent a decent amount of time on those awards and talking about those players. So for my underrated list, number 1 I had Kobe White.
Yeah, I like that. That's nice. Yeah.
Number 1 I had Kobe White. I've heard about him a bit this week, but that's because he's averaging 38.
Well, I think it's also mainly because they smashed the Lakers.
And they smashed the Lakers.
Lakers are such a big ticket team.
Yeah, but I'm taking whole season into account.
Yeah.
And for me, Kobe White is 100% up there.
Well, let's have a look. This whole season. So then 20 again, 3.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 1 steal. He's 45 from field, 36 from 3.
Yeah.
90% from the free throw line, though.
Yeah. I think he's having a great season, especially one thing coming into the year. I thought he was going to have a bit of a down season, right? Because at the start of the year, they had Lonzo coming back. They just got Giddey. They had Zach LaVine. They had someone else. They had Sumu. They had so many guards. And he had a great season last year without Giddey being there. Zach LaVine was injured, and he was really good. So I was thinking, they're getting all these guards back. He's not going to have the ball as much. He might have a down season, but he's played really well.
I think he's been very good. Him and Giddey worked really well.
They have.
They worked well together.
They have. They're a good mix. So yeah, Kobe White for my number 1. For my second underrated player, this one's a bit of a hot take. Ja Morant.
No.
Since the suspension.
I think that's why he's not talked about.
But since the suspension, when do you really say anything about him? I think the highlights.
Should I tell you why I think they don't talk about him?
Hold on. The highlights have come down.
Yeah.
But he's overall a much better player.
He controls the game better than he did.
Overall, he's a much better player. He just doesn't, catch as many bodies as he used to. And you don't really hear about him anymore.
I think that's a reason, yes. I think the main reason why he's not talked about a lot anymore, as much as he was, I think the media are kind of in that period right now where they're trying to look for a face of the league, right? You always hear about that. Who's the face? Who's the guys? I think part of the reason they don't want to talk about Ja is because of what's happened. And they don't want to promote him as the face of the league right now. No, I think I don't know if it's a fair reason.
No, I see what you're saying.
I think that's what they're doing.
I see what you're saying, but I think he's underrated.
Yeah.
Now.
I think nobody talked about it. I can see why you said that. I think nobody underrates him, though.
I don't know, bro.
The word underrated, I don't think anybody is like, oh, Memphis, Ja. He's, Ja has a good stuff.
No, but that's what I mean. No,
superstar.
But you don't hear that. Not this season.
Yeah,
you hear about.
I think that's because of what I said.
You hear about Jaren Jackson.
Yeah.
You hear about Desmond Bain.
As role players, or they're.
No, as the guys.
Nah, they always say Ja is the guy.
Not this season, bro.
Yeah.
Not this season. No.
100% they always say he's the guy.
Ja Morant is my second underrated player.
Okay.
Number 3, Jalen Duren.
Okay.
Okay. He holds down the Pistons defense.
You were forcing a Pistons fight, though. Like, there's got to be one.
He's a walking double-double.
Yeah. Jalen
Duren is my third underrated player. I don't think there's much else to say. I don't think he has.
See, if I'm honest, like, you don't see that much about the guy.
He's outside of Isaiah Stewart. He's the team's enforcer. You know, he's a big body in the middle.
It's been good the last few games.
He's having some crackers. He is a really good player.
22 and 12 last step. Yeah, it's been good.
I love me some Jalen Duren.
Oh, the Pistons, man.
Bro, I love their team.
You really want Pistons to be like, win it.
I love their team.
Absolutely.
I don't want them to win it, but I love.
You wanted to win the East.
Oh yeah, the East, 100%.
You can tell.
100%.
You love them there.
My fourth underrated player.
Yeah.
Cason Wallace.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. Numbers wise, he's not as good as some of these other guys, but impact.
I don't think it's about their numbers versus the other guys on the list. It's about where they are talked about and where they actually are.
That's what I mean. Impact wise, out of the 5, he's probably the best. Outstanding defender. Can shoot the 3.
Well, out of the 5 you picked is underrated.
Yeah, in terms of like impact, like not numbers, just impact, defensive impact.
I would still say Ja has more impact.
Nah.
On a game.
Nah.
Yeah.
No, bro.
How does Ja not have more?
I'm talking defensively.
That's only half the game.
No, but I'm talking defensively.
Okay, well, you got to specify that.
Okay, defensive impact.
Just say a game as a whole.
Defensive impact.
Just deep half of it, yeah?
No. Defensive impact and stuff that doesn't show up in the box score.
Yeah.
Cason Wallace is up there. Underrated.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
And then my 5th player, I had Amen Thompson, the Thompson twin from the Rockets.
Yeah.
He's just
He's been really good.
He's just been a well-rounded good player. I think
Yeah.
I could have had a Sarr in there as well, but I didn't want to have 2 Pistons players, and I think Amen is the better of the 2.
You would have had 4 Piston players if you could.
I would have had a team full of Pistons players.
But, yeah, I'll have that one. The Rockets actually, as a whole team, don't really get talked about enough.
No.
Like, I was listening to them the other day, it was actually a tease, and he put them at like 9th.
In terms of?
Like, if you had like tiers, right, and you counted the teams,
can
you pick them as the first team of the tier they're in?
Right.
And just said he must have thought they were better than all the other teams on their tiers.
East and West?
Yeah, like it was off the league.
Okay, yeah.
He had them like 9th. And I was like, don't know about 9th. Like, he just had them really low. But at the time he said that, the Rockets had a pretty good couple of games. They were 2nd in the West.
Yeah.
I was like, you really just said they're just not it.
Well, they're getting the same sort of treatment that like OKC got last year because of how young they are.
Yeah, and I don't know if I liked it. Like, I was just a bit like, look, I don't think they're going to win it. But give them some respect. They're having a very good year.
Well, are they still 2nd in the West?
These are based on their year. Let me have a look. Yeah, still 2nd in the West.
They're still 2nd?
They're the 2nd team now in the West to be guaranteed postseason.
Mm-hmm.
They're 46 and 26. I just thought they were a little bit as a team almost underrated. I was like, okay, I get you don't think they're going to win it, but if you're ranking them in tiers and how good their season is, you can't tell me the Warriors are better.
No.
And the Warriors were well up.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't put the Warriors above them in terms of season.
Well, and the Bucks. In terms of seasons, I don't think the Bucks have a better season.
No, I wouldn't.
So I didn't really like that, and I think that's why like almost the whole Rockets team was underrated as a team.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to win, but they could win a series or 2.
I think it all depends on matchup, but I wouldn't be surprised.
It's just depending on their matchup.
Yeah.
But moving on.
All right, overrated players.
Overrated. You can go first this time, Rocky.
All right, I got Bam Adebayo for my first one.
Okay.
I got Bam Adebayo. I think he is so overrated.
You reckon?
The way that Heat fans especially talk about him.
I think every fan just talked about their team. So
I know, but the way that Heat fans talk about Bam, the way that the media talks about Bam is like he's the next coming of Jesus Christ. And I really don't think he's that good. For a big man, he's not the best rebounder. He's not the best shot blocker. He doesn't exactly have a reliable shot. He can play make, but that's why they glaze him. I really don't think he's all that. Yeah, I got Ben for my first one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were gonna go. Okay.
No,
all right.
not the one by one. We're doing all of them.
All right. For my second, this player has an exception. I have Jamal Murray, except for when he versus the Lakers. Okay.
What do you mean he has an exception? Yeah, I can say that.
Okay. Because when he versus the Lakers, probably turns into Michael Jordan, right? Turns into prime Kobe Bryant. Yeah. But versus everyone else, similar to Bam, he's really not all that. He's very inconsistent. Considering he's the second option on the Nuggets, I think you would want a little bit more from him.
Yeah.
And I just don't think he's done that this season. I think when KCP left in the offseason and signed with Orlando, I thought he was going to step up, and he just hasn't. Instead, it's been guys like Aaron Gordon and Westbrook that have kind of stepped up and provided the extra production. I just think he's a very inconsistent player unless he versus LA.
Yeah, I think if you're talking about all time, not like I think he's kind of still just, he was really good when they won a championship.
Yeah.
This season he hasn't been that good.
No.
I don't think. No. But he's kind of getting the respect of, well, you won the championship as the number 2 guy.
I'm going off of this
season a little bit.
I'm going off of this season.
Say that.
My third guy, I had Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Okay. He's played how many games this season? Maybe like in the 20s.
He's in one of this too.
I think the year he won MVP.
Crazy. Look, he's been really good career-wise. I just think
career-wise he's been good.
He's so many injuries. It's like, well, you got to almost take into account of like, is he overrated? Because if I'm picking a team, I don't want him.
No,
because he's just not there.
No, I think skill-wise, he's great. Cause I think the best ability is availability, and he doesn't have that.
And that's why I built someone else on my list. I don't know if you're going to agree with it.
And
it's about their availability.
Okay, I don't have a gut feeling of who I know it is. But anyway, so Joel Embiid, I think when he plays, even then he's still probably a little bit shaky. I don't enjoy his game very much. But
I think he's quite good.
I'm not saying it was bad, but he's
also, I think I wrote, with the whole process thing, we're going through the process, we're going to win it. He's had opportunities, hasn't gotten out of the second round.
No, he's had a lot of really good.
You can't tell me you can't get out of the second round.
No.
Like, he was losing to like rookie Jason Tatum without Kyrie. And it's like, okay, you should win that series.
Yeah, career-wise, he should have been better, but I'm putting Embiid in there. My fourth player, I had Mikal Bridges. I think I'm taking into account what the Knicks gave up for him in that trade. It was like 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges, and I think when you look at his production this year, even Knicks fans are saying send him back to Brooklyn.
What's that send you back to Brooklyn?
They're saying send him back. Defensively, when I think of Mikal Bridges, right, I think of good Mikal Bridges, I think of Phoenix, right? And he is such a different player to how he was in Phoenix. The defense is barely there. The 3-point shot is nowhere near as consistent.
Not as good as he was, but he's also changed his shot.
Yeah, and it looks ugly.
But ugly, and it doesn't work. It's not as good.
No.
Like, he's obviously gone into a lab with a trainer who's never played NBA and said, nah, this is how we shoot. Changed his shot, and all of a sudden, he is not shooting as well.
Yeah.
Like, he's a very good player. I think he's played decent. He's had really good games, but he's been inconsistent. I'm putting that down to his shot as being inconsistent.
Okay. I would just say he's overrated because of what Brooklyn gave up for him.
Or how good he was in Brooklyn.
Yeah, how what the Knicks were expecting to get, what I was expecting him to play like, compared to what he actually has.
I could agree with you.
Then I would say Mikal Bridges. And my final player, I have Pascal Siakam. I really don't understand why he was an all-star. I think Pascal Siakam, I'm looking dead in the camera. You're terrible. Retire from basketball. Bro, he has one
way too far.
He has one move in his bag It's that spin move with the right hand. Do you think has a back? He has who on the paper? Bro, Miles Turner is better than Pascal Siakam.
We talking about we bring up the Halliburton.
No bag. Yeah, Pascal Siakam overrated. I think. I don't know, bro. You just watching him, you know, you have the eye test with some players, right?
I agree.
You look at some players and you're like, I
wouldn't say he's overrated.
I would say he's overrated. You do not deserve to be an all-star. You're washed.
All-star over.
Who should have been? I'd have to have a look. I can't even remember who was on the East All-Star team. So I'd have to go and look at the team.
Well, I'm trying to think we've got Cat, you know?
I think so. I think Cat and Brunson started.
Sam Hauser.
Bro, no, get that out of here. Get that out of here. No Sam Hauser.
Oh, they're joking.
Yeah, Pascal Siakam.
I'd love to say it.
These lists, both on my list, the underrated and overrated lists, they aren't ranked, all right? They're not ranked 1 through 5, except for Pascal Siakam. You are the number 1 most overrated player in the league.
Why not only ranked because it was easy to do that and just put a dot point?
Okay, no, fair.
Okay, for my top 5 overrated. Number 1, I have Tyrese Halliburton.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is so overrated. When I watch him, I don't see someone as a number 1 option acting like a number 1 option.
I'm very 50-50 on him, right?
Nah.
I'm very 50-50.
I think you're the number 1 option. And with how good that Pacers team is, I think they are a very well-rounded team.
They're a well-rounded team, 100%.
I think he comes in, he has a step-back 3. And can pass the ball.
You know the one thing that annoys me about Tyrese Halliburton?
What?
He makes every pass so much harder than it has to be because he wants the highlight.
I just think, even he got picked on that Team USA team.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I was looking at those players, you're a few tiers below.
Well, I think the only reason, and I'll stand on this, I think the only reason he got picked for that team is because he isn't a score-first guy.
Yeah.
Right? That's the only reason.
I just wouldn't put it on that. And I think, but when people saw he was picked on that team, some people were like me, and they're like, I didn't deserve to be there, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
And some people are like, Tyrese must be one of the best 10 to 15 players in the league then. And I'm like, he is not.
Yeah.
And I think he's kind of living off it a bit. He was good last year, but I don't think he started this year very well.
No, he's picked it up a little bit in the last couple of weeks.
A little bit, but not what he was.
He's still not anywhere near as good. I don't enjoy especially when he's off. When he's off,
I enjoy watching the Pacers as well. They're really good at watching.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I'm gonna watch Tyrese Halliburton. No.
Yeah.
Not happy.
Yeah.
Number 2, Joel Embiid. We've already talked about it, so I'm not really
similar points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My point says injuries have ruined him. He's almost heard the process is over.
Yeah. I mean, if you're Philly,
you've got to,
especially after the disappointment you've had this season, blow it up. Blow it up. You've been clinging onto the process for
he's not on my list.
Near 10 years.
Paul George.
This season I could say it.
Yeah, he's not on my list, but Paul George.
Yeah.
I actually don't have 5, so maybe I could just chuck Paul George in there as my other one.
Yeah.
Because I only have 4.
Yeah.
Paul George definitely okay, Joe Embiid's out, but old Paul George would have been able to take that team better than what they are.
Yeah, no, he's
horrible.
He has not had a good season. Not at all. And now he's out for the season as well. So
this one is on the similar lines to Joel Embiid.
If you say Chet Holmgren.
No.
No? Okay, cool.
No.
Okay.
Kawhi Leonard. I think he's still kind of living off that 2019 finals run to the point where everyone's scared of the guy. But he's always injured. And as you said, the best ability is availability.
Yeah.
It's either he's injured or he's taking time off because he doesn't want to get injured.
Yeah.
I think he's had some really good teams in the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And they haven't lived up to expectations. They've lost a couple of close series.
They have, but you've got to take into account who they've been facing. I think they've had.
And I'm also taking into account how good he was in 2019. And it's look who they were versing.
Yeah.
I think why he's kind of they talk about him legacy-wise more than they talk about him how he's playing. And I've seen other players, if they did if you chuck 40-year-old LeBron in there, playing as much as he is, always injured, doing what Kawhi's been doing, numbers and all that wise, how much would you see LeBron just get thrashed?
Yeah.
In comparison.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why he's in my break, because I think of it like that, and I'm like, LeBron gets injured for 2 weeks and people shit talk him.
Yeah.
This guy's always out, whether injured or not, and you don't hear that much.
I don't know. I have a little bit, I don't want to say a soft spot, but I kind of feel for him. Did you see that report about what happened when he was on the Spurs?
Which one?
So, watch me botch this, but essentially he was playing on an injury and he has like early stage arthritis, but the team forced him to play or they were going to like withhold his pay. It was something like that. So he played on it.
Like,
and
I didn't know that.
And then he just kept getting worse.
I didn't know that. But what I will say is like, then that's okay. But the way they talk about him, it's like, well,
no, yeah, I know.
Feel overrated. Like, if I'm picking a team, I don't want him.
No, I see where you're coming from because you're making a similar point to what I said about Embiid.
Yeah, like, but they're very. That's why I said they're very similar.
Yeah.
Next one's a hot take.
Okay.
As a duo. I've got him as a duo.
Okay.
I don't
so you have an overrated duo.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have an overrated duo.
Before you tell me the players, what do you think about them individually?
Oh, they're good. They're not overrated.
Okay, but it's just them together.
Them together, yeah.
Right.
Individually, they are very good. I would never put them on an overrated list.
Right.
As a duo, I don't think their production has done enough.
Okay.
Not enough people have said anything about it.
All right, I'm intrigued.
Okay.
Yep.
They haven't performed well enough. They've been together 2 to 3 seasons. This might be their 3rd season now.
Mm-hmm.
I have one playoff series. They have been swept.
Yep.
And they've lost in 6. That's their 3 playoff series. They won 4-1, lost in 6, got swept.
Yep.
And this season, they're fighting for a playing spot. I have KD and Devin Booker together. I just think if you told me a couple of years ago, KD and Booker are going to be together.
Yep.
After seeing what they were in 2021, the Suns, with Chris Paul, I would have been like, yes.
Yeah.
Even if they had lost a few players, like them two alone will get a couple of playoff series wins.
Mm-hmm.
From what? And they don't look like getting another one.
Yeah, no.
If I look all time, I look back, I go, Kevin Durant's time in the Suns, very good. He played amazing. Devin Booker played amazing. But they beat Clippers, which I don't even know if the Clippers would have had all their players.
I don't think they did.
They probably were injured.
I don't think they did.
And they won in 5. So they won comfortably. They were probably injured though. Then they went and lost to the Nuggets in 6. It was the year the Nuggets won. I'll give them that.
Yep.
Then they lost to the Timberwolves and got swept. I will say this, the year before KD got there was the year they came first in the West and then lost in 7 to the Mavericks in the second round.
Yeah.
With Monty Williams being coach of the year.
Yeah.
You're telling me, and the year before that, they made the finals.
Yeah.
KD comes there, they'd won 1 series in 2 years, and they don't look like getting even into the playoffs almost.
Yeah.
Listen, as a duo, they should be doing more.
I see it, but I wouldn't even look at it as a duo, right? I'd look at it more of as a team.
Yeah, like you could even say trio with Bradley Beal in there, but
that's not even a trio. Bradley Beal should have made my overrated list. Bradley Beal, you suck. Okay.
No, like me, Wizard Bradley Beal. Don't.
But even then, that's situational, right?
Just like, watching it.
Yeah, no.
And I think because in my eyes, they were more like that underdog. I was like,
yeah.
I see that win game.
I don't know. I think with Phoenix, it's a team thing. I think the management screwed him over. I think getting KD wasn't the wrong move. Okay, but I think
getting a class KD. Yeah.
I think getting Beal is where that's where they got done dirty.
If you've got Booker and you've got KD, why are you getting another scorer?
Yeah.
You're getting a guy. You're getting, I reckon, 2 guys, because usually you can get 2 guys who are defensive players.
Yep.
You're getting 1 guard who's a defensive guard, and you're getting 1 forward who's a defensive forward.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got Aiton. Was he traded away?
That's what I'm looking at now.
I haven't even heard of D-Vat down there. Yeah.
Well, it's because he got sent to Portland, bro. I don't even know if he's played a whole lot.
Whoa.
Yeah. No, okay. So DeAndre Ayton was a part of that.
KD trade?
No, I think he was a part of the Damian Lillard trade because it was a 3-way trade. Or it was like a 4-teamer. So it was like Chris Paul got sent to the Warriors. Dame got sent to the Bucks.
Yeah.
Ayton got sent to the Blazers. Holiday got sent to the Blazers before he got bought out and signed with Boston. So imagine if you never make that Beal trade, right? You do a separate, just little side deal for Chris Paul, get rid of him. Because if you don't want to keep him, sure, whatever. But I feel like, if you keep Booker, you get KD, who they only traded Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson for. Granted, they were good. But I would trade them for Kevin Durant.
I think you're
right. So you got Booker, you got KD, you keep Ayton. You make a few of the signings that they've picked up, like Tyus Jones. They've got Nick Richards this year. That team is way better than what they have with Beal.
Yeah, I agree. I do believe. I just think, actually, as a team, yes, I could have put them in as a team, but we're doing players, so I thought, let's pick up 2 best players.
Yep.
Because I thought it was unfair to put KD in there.
Yep.
Because KD is in the problem. And then I was like, it's also unfair to put Booker in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's really the problem. But I was like, I can't put a team next with all players. So I put the duo.
Yep.
And I said, as a duo, if you told me these two are playing together, I would think they would do a lot better than they have.
Yeah. Have you noticed, though? I'm just double checking that now. They've won 5 out of the last 6. And a certain someone hasn't been playing.
Who?
Bradley Beal.
See, that doesn't shock me. Hasn't they playing?
No, they are much better as a team without him.
Yeah, but it's hard to have a team. There's 3 out-and-out scorers.
Yeah.
How do you, ISO. Like, what are they going to do? Oh, we're going to change Booker to pass it? No. You get someone who can pass the ball and play defense.
I don't think that's
Beal.
I don't think that's been bad for Booker. I think letting him play make a little bit more is good, and I think it's been good for him.
Let's try to change a guy.
I think it's bad that they forced it on him the way that they did. I think if they said to him, "Hey, we want you to start playmaking a bit more," cool. But instead they traded for Beal, and they're like, "You have to do this."
Yeah.
And it hasn't worked out.
I think we need to move on a bit with Beal on this subject.
We have been on there a while. All right, let's do our thoughts on current playoff matchups. So we're going to get rid of, because we spent a lot of time last week talking about play-in, so we're going to eliminate the 9 and 10 seeds, right? We're just going to go straight 1 through 8.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get a timer out.
Okay.
You have 5 seconds to make a decision.
On a team?
On a team.
Okay.
Yeah. 10 seconds to pick the series score, where it's 4-3.
Yeah.
Whatever. How many they win in. And you have 30 seconds to tell me why. So total, let's just say a minute total.
Got around a minute.
You got around a minute. We'd say 1 minute. But in that first 15 seconds, you need to have a team winning
score. Okay.
So let me get a timer up.
All right. Are we starting 1-8, 2-7, 3-6, 4-5? Is that the order we're going in?
We're going to start 1-8. Yeah. You can be quicker if you want. The whole reason is I want your raw thick, Keith.
Okay.
Who do you have back? All right.
Okay.
We're going to start in the East.
In the East?
3, 2, 1. Cavaliers versus Magic.
All right, give me the Cavs, and I got 4-2. I reckon the Magic are good enough to win a couple of games. I think Donovan Mitchell is going to have a couple of stinkers.
Yep.
I don't think he's going to have a consistent playoff series. And I think the Magic are good enough on defense to where if they slow down Mitchell and Paolo and Franz both play really well, they can steal a couple of games. But I think the games that Cleveland wins are all going to be by blowouts, and I think the ones that Orlando wins are going to be very close. Okay. I don't see...
What is that, 4-1?
I don't see Orlando blowing them out. I think 4-2. I think Orlando could snag some home games.
Okay.
but I would lean Cleveland, obviously, to win the series. But I think it all comes down to how well Mitchell plays.
Fair enough. All right. 4-5 Pacers, Bucks, go.
I got the... Oh, God, I don't know. I got the Pacers.
Yeah.
4-3. I got to go on 7. Okay. I'm pretty sure it went 7 last time.
Yeah.
I think the Pacers as a team are just a bit more well-rounded. I think the Bucks defense is absolutely atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
And similar to when they played last year, if the Pacers come with the game plan of let Giannis do his thing and we're going to slow down everyone else, then they can win the series.
Yeah.
And that's what I got for that one. That's it. 4-3. I got to go on 7. I wouldn't be surprised if it went either way, but I got the Pacers.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. They won 81-4-2 last year.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. Knicks, Pistons, go. 3v6.
Listen, the Pistons Glazer inside of me wants to say Pistons. And I will. Pistons in 6.
That is
4-2. 4-2. I think they are the deeper team. I think the defense is better. I think especially come playoff time, the Knicks are just going to be gassed, right? You're going to have all 5 of their starters playing 40-plus minutes a game. They've already dealt with a couple of injuries. And the players around them, they're injury prone, right? Last year, look at the playoffs for the Knicks. You had OG out, you had Brunson out, you just didn't have a healthy team.
We're not saying last year the Knicks.
No, but I'm saying there's already been a couple of injury problems with their starting 5, and outside of their starting 5, they have no one. Whereas the Pistons are a more well-rounded team, they have a better defense, so I'm going Detroit in 6.
Okay. Oh, right, get on your knees, just blaze of it. Right, Celtics, B, Hawks.
I think it's 4-0 Boston. And I don't think there's a whole lot, that Atlanta can do about it. I could see it being 4-1. I could see Trae Young kind of going crazy, but I would land 4-0.
I would put my house count on 4-0.
I would land 4-0 for that series.
Yeah, that's easy. We're done that one. To the West,
Yeah.
we'll do the Thunder versus the
Timberwolves. I got OKC in
series there.
Yeah, I got OKC in 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Magic.
Respect to it.
The fan in me obviously wants to say 4-0, but I think Anthony Edwards, Naz Reid, I don't see them getting swept. I think OKC is going to win. I think they're the better team. But I think if the Timberwolves play the way that they have been, especially with Randall coming back, I could see them winning a game or 2. So I got 4-2.
It could almost be a 4-3 if OKC gets shocked a little bit. Like a little bit of, oh shit, this team is actually competing. And they're like that. I can see it being an OKC.
I think it matches up really well. But every other time OKC is versus Minnesota in the regular season, OKC's had someone out, whether it's 0 bigs, like Hartenstein and Chet both out. Jalen Williams has missed a game. Shea has missed a game. And we've still won the season series.
Yeah.
So,
right, that's your minute up.
Yep.
Right, Lakers, Memphis, 4v5.
This one's hard as well. I think I'll lean Lakers because of experience.
Yeah.
I find it hard to count out Bron and Luka.
What's the scoreline?
I think I'd go 4-3. I could see this one going 7.
4-2.
I could see this one going 7. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Like Memphis is, a great team. But yeah, counting out Bron and Luka is just kind of insane.
All right, we're going to move on. We have the Nuggets Warriors. It's a bad matchup for the Nuggets, I think.
So I think it's a bad matchup for the Warriors.
I think
I'd go 4-2 Denver.
So I would say it's a bad matchup because if there's like a guy that I would like as a defense, like Draymond or like a Mobley, is what the guys that want defending. Because no one's going to defend Jokic.
No.
If I wanted someone to be like, oh, just, you're going to do a decent job. Maybe Jaren Jackson Jr., but I'd be like, yeah, Draymond.
Yeah.
He's probably going to fail out though.
Yeah, 100%.
If there was someone I'd want.
He's probably going to miss a game because of flagrant.
On this list, I'm saying. So that was the MVP.
Yeah.
I thought it was a bad matchup for the Nuggets because they're really relying on their precision. Anyway, your turn to talk.
I'd go 4-2 Denver. I think they're the better overall team. Yeah, the Warriors just aren't consistent enough. I think Denver has more options.
Playoff Jimmy there.
Playoff Jimmy has been a thing the last couple of years. Not since that Bucks series or that run where he went crazy. Where was he last year?
He wasn't that great, but
Yeah.
still. All right. And the Rockets and the Clippers. Upset alert, maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think this series all comes down to Kawhi Leonard. I think if he's healthy and the Clippers are healthy.
So the Rockets win.
I think if Kawhi's healthy, I'd go 4-2 Clippers. I think if Kawhi's out, then I'd go probably 4-3 Rockets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think very close series.
That's what I would lay
And
on.
we'll say this. Last week, I said the Clippers wouldn't make a dent. I'll always have to take that back, man. I watched them this week. They smashed the Grizzlies. I was like, damn.
They've gone 4-1 since his.
Then they nearly beat OKC. I was like, damn. I was like, for the first time in my life, I was like, please beat them. Thunder, please beat them. I cannot have this blow up in my base within a week of saying something. So I need to give them my respect. It's my fault.
Yeah.
Oh, that rounds out your playoff picture. I like it. That was good.
That was
I
good.
didn't mind any of them. Yeah, you had a good pip in the Celtics. Yeah, I liked them all. I didn't really have a different one than you. Except the Pistons, man. No, Knicks in 6.
No, bro.
Knicks in
Not a chance. They're not going to stay healthy. They're not deep enough. Their defense is atrocious.
6.
No.
Knicks,
What? Come playoff time.
Yeah.
Pistons.
Knicks in 6. Knicks in 6. I'm telling you right now.
Nah, bro. Pistons. 100%. 100%. Watch. Cade's going to average damn near 30 that series.
We'll see.
Knicks are overrated.
We'll see. And what's Brunson going to do?
What's he going to do?
He's got
Flop, as per usual.
Mate, he's going to score 30 for other games.
Yeah, on 30 free throws. No. Brunson, no.
Don't you dare be talking about free throws with Shea on your team. Mate, he
Bro, no.
is the wildest whistle I have ever seen in my life.
You're a casual.
Mate, look. Give me one.
Bro,
Mate, wild.
stop it.
He's not going to get that in the playoffs.
I don't think anyone will really get that in the playoffs.
I'm not saying he's still not.
If you want to get onto the Shea free throw talk, we can. Okay.
Just saying. You got to admit.
But all I'm saying,
you got to admit it's a bit of a whistle.
but so does everyone. Everyone in that top, okay, he only shoots, I think it's like 9 a game, which is
I'm not saying he's not the MVP.
which isn't.
I'm not saying he's not great.
No.
I'm saying that he does get bit of a whistle.
No, but not compared to some other people, bro. Brunson, the way that people talk about Shea is how people need to talk about Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson gets a way better whistle than Shea does.
Some level of Shea.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Shea cops it because he's on such a high level.
But he gets a better whistle. And I think the conversations that people have about Shea and his, like, regarding free throws is what people need to talk about with Jalen Brunson. I can bring up free throw numbers, bro. I'm just saying, like,
I do think, though, Shea gets a bit of a wild whistle. Seeing some of the
I don't-
flops he's done, I was like, oh.
listen, he sells it sometimes,
He does get a whistle.
but so does everyone,
But
right?
Harden used to get a whistle, and I used to get really pissed off. But then he used to struggle in the playoffs because he didn't get that whistle.
But 90%, if you go through and actually watch the game, 90% of the fouls on Shea are fouls. And then when teams don't foul him, he shoots 3 or 4 free throws a game, and he still drops 35.
I'm not saying he's not a good player. I'm just saying you've got to admit he gets a whistle. That's all I want to hear from you. You've got to admit he does get a whistle.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all.
No, he gets a whistle, but it's not as much as people make it sound like, bro.
No, but I don't want to say he gets a whistle.
But you can say that
That's
about
all you got to admit.
you could say that about so many people.
Yeah. Well, I did see the numbers. Without free throws, or across the league, he still has the most points per game. Yeah. I'm not saying he held the MVP. I agree with him. He's the MVP. I'm just saying, like, as you said, he does get a whistle. Like, that's all I'm saying. He gets a whistle.
Okay. All right. We're going to touch on the UFC Fight Night quickly before we wrap it up.
The heartbreaking fight.
I mean, let's talk about the top three because they're the ones that matter the most, right? So, do we want to start? Do we want to 3, 2, 1? So we'll start with Kevin Holland and Gunnar Nelson.
We'll go through quickly.
All right, Kevin Holland won by unanimous decision. He almost put it away at the end of the first round. I thought he probably, it should have been called off. Did you watch it live? No. All right, so Nelson was on the ground.
Did not wake up early to watch that.
Nelson was on the ground, getting ground and pounded. Like, he was rolling. They played it out because there was only a couple of seconds left.
I think that happened.
He stood up and he almost fell back over. I think it should have been called. It didn't. Went to decision. It looked like a good fight. Holland fought really well, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
Next up we had Carlos Ulberg. He also won by unanimous decision.
Yep.
He looked good. That's kind of it. There wasn't really any outstanding moments from either fighter. Young's 42, coming off of 2 shoulder surgeries.
Just try to look into it as well, like into UFC in general. Like I watched past the Kevin Holland fight. I didn't really see much of the Ulberg fight, and to me that sounds like it was just a clinical type of win.
It was a
decision. Not that much really must have happened, but he was just like, oh, he won.
No, it was a point victory, right? Like it was, he outstruck him. He defended takedowns. He landed the bigger shots. That's all it was. And then we had, for the main event, we had Sean Brady absolutely dog walk Leon Edwards.
I just say that is absolutely heartbreaking. Like for me, I've seen the videos. I've watched the fight.
You are one of the biggest Leon Edwards fans that I know.
I love him. I think I'm always a big comeback guy though. I do love a comeback guy.
Yeah, he's not coming back.
No, I was just talking about in general.
Okay.
Leon, Rocky Edwards. I love a guy who can come back from things and underdog, all those things. So that was a big reason why I'm a massive fan of him.
Mm-hmm.
It does hurt to see. I mean,
on the flip side though, Sean Brady looked really good.
He did.
He looked really good.
That wasn't what I was watching.
I love Leon Edwards as well. I wanted him to win, but
Leon in the second round did not land a strike.
Put up a donut.
Not a strike.
Absolutely nothing.
Bro, I know you were getting control.
I believe
you couldn't hit the goal.
I believe
you hit it once.
Brady had like 4 minutes something of control time in that second round as well.
People have control time. You still got to land something because.
Mate, you'd hope so.
If someone's wrestling me, I'm not just going to wrestle me.
Yeah.
I'm going to just hit him a couple of times just to keep him at bay. Give me some time.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd watched, how sometimes fighters, they'll put up like training camp videos. Volk's doing that at the moment. Leon did that before this fight. On his YouTube channel, he was putting up his fight camp. Just like videos, how he's going, talking to his trainers, stuff like that. They were all saying how good he looked. Obviously, they're going to say that, right? But I think coming off of the loss to Bilal, losing the belt, losing the way he did.
It's the way he lost. He didn't look like he wanted to be there.
No, and I think it's the exact same thing. He looked worse against Brady than he did against Bilal.
Was just a really even watching Kamaru, like when he fought Kamaru, he was just such a lazy fighter. Like, you just kind of sits there.
Yeah.
The technique is absolutely impeccable.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I'm just going to.
Yeah.
He doesn't press people.
No.
You're not going to hear him go, I'm going to keep going at them. There's none of that.
No. Technically, and, when he's on. Technically, he's a great fighter.
Even with,
but
really, he was a lucky win. So.
Yeah, and that's what's got a lot of people talking. Like, what if he didn't land that one head kick? You know what I mean? He was losing that fight.
It was quite upsetting. I'm a big Leon fan.
Going forward, what's something that you would like to see for Leon Edwards? Because he's now
wise or who he's fighting or how will the scene fight.
Who would you like as a potential matchup? Because I have one in mind. He's dropping down to 5th in terms of rankings now. Let me show you one first, right? Or let me tell you.
Let me see the ranking. I want to see if I agree with it.
Let me tell you about this one.
I don't tell me anything.
All right. So, he's dropped down to 3.
Should be low.
All right.
Okay. I reckon Sean Brady went to March.
Well, he took Leon's spot.
I still don't agree with that, though. I said this last week. Like, you can't tell me he's better than Shavkat. Like, he looked good, but Shavkat. Like, day 4, who you take on? You're taking Shavkat.
If we're going off of both fighters' previous performances,
You're going off them as a fighter. If they fought, you're not going off one fight. You're going off career.
yeah,
You're going off Shavkat is a better fight. I would have him number 1, so I think he's an earner too. Anyway, I would like to see him fight. Is Ian Gary 7?
Ian Gary 7.
Maybe an Ian Gary.
Say,
Because Ian Gary just fought meant to fight. He just fought Shavkat.
he looked really good.
And it looked really good.
Looked really good.
He's 7. This would be beneficial for the both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're fighting a guy who's 7th ranked, Leon. But and I think he sadly loses the fight. I think it's more like the only fight that will help his career. Because if he beats someone like him, it's like, well, he looked good against Shavkat.
Yeah.
No, I'm still good. And it's dangerous, though. But I think Leon needs to fight a dangerous fighter. One that could beat him for him to be able to prove anyone that I'm still here. You know what I mean? Like, he needs to fight someone. I don't think he wins the fight.
No.
I'm saying he needs to fight someone that people are almost going to doubt him for us to be able to go, you know what? You deserve to be up there again.
Let me tell you what I would like to hear. Okay.
What?
Do you know a decent amount about the fighting nerds out of Brazil? You know, Caio Borralho, Carlos Prates,
Not really. But
Jane Silva. So it's this gym out of Brazil. It's got these 4 guys.
Yeah.
They're all ranked. One of them, this guy right here, Carlos Prates. Okay. Absolute sniper. Right. Super high on him. He's fighting Jeff Neal at 314. If he wins, which I think he will, then he'll jump up to number 10. Okay. Leon's now number 3.
I don't think he needs to fight number 10 though.
Nah, but you know how the UFC gets with up and coming prospects, right? Look at what they did with Petr Yan and Sean O'Malley, right?
With Fickle, yeah.
They'll skip a few rankings if they've got something that they're really high on, and they think that they can really perform. They'll bump them up a few extra rankings to try and get them up there quicker. You know what I mean? I would really love to see if Prates wins. I would really like to see him fight Leon. I think both of them are strikers. Okay.
It would be a better fight for Leon
It would be.
than Ian Gary.
I think it would be a great fight for both of them. I think it would be hard for Leon. It definitely wouldn't be easy, despite what the rankings are.
I don't know.
But I just don't know what else you give him, bro. Like, he's coming off of 2 losses, so I wouldn't give him Shavkat. Okay, personally, because I think Shavkat's next in line for the belt. Whether below,
Even Leon Shavkat.
no, but that's what I mean. You don't give him Shavkat.
No.
You don't give him Usman. Usman hasn't even fought since.
So I was actually thinking, I did say Usman name, and I thought, theoretically, how cool would a fight look? You said, okay, we got Leon Kamaru,
Mm-hmm.
but you make it a pretty much win or go home.
Like, win or get cut.
Not get cut, but win or pretty much, it's data-wise say, winner keeps their spot. They're keeping their spot around the belt. They're going to be one of the next 4 to 5. They're going to keep doing these contender fights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kamaru or whoever loses, you're done. You're not getting near that belt again. And make it a, boys, this is it. Type of fight.
Yeah, okay.
It's like, and you would make it a do or die.
I think
This is for your career.
I could see it. I don't see it happening.
I don't
like,
happy.
like it'd be
I think it'd be a cool.
it'd be nice.
Be a cool idea about, look, none of you have put up really gun performances lately.
Mm-hmm.
Kamaru hasn't really fought. Leon's just been, doesn't look like he wants to be there.
Yeah.
This is your prove it or pretty much go home. You're done.
Yeah.
You're not going to have the career you want, Chad, if you lose this fight because you're both 3 and 4. Do you both deserve it? I don't think so. I think JDM should be higher ranked. I think.
Well, he's getting the title shot, right?
Yeah. I think, and Gary deserves to be higher ranked than the both of them.
Yeah.
It's like, one of you are going to have to fight and hang him the gloves soon. And the other one who wins will give you another couple of shots at his contender fights. And then if you keep doing what you're doing, you're done.
Yeah.
I like it as a cool idea. I don't know.
That's a cool idea, dude.
Cool.
Bro, definitely won't happen. I reckon, either it'll go to Gary or Prates is one that I would like to see. So I think that'd be a really fun fight to watch.
Yeah.
Unless Leon's like, let me try and take you down again, and then get reversed and get controlled for 4.5 minutes and land 0 strikes in a round.
Yes. All right. Well, that's it.
Wrapping up.
That's the wrap up. That wraps up the episode of Off the Bench Podcast number 4.
Yeah.
Today we talked about
The team start bench cuts. Kick us off.
cuts to start a little game.
Underrated and overrated players. Pascal, you suck. We did our thoughts on current playoff matchups.
Current playoff matchups, we did that, and then a little bit of the UFC finish.
Cheeky little fight night recap.
So, if you're liking this podcast, make sure you subscribe to see what we've got coming. More podcasts are coming out. We're always looking for ideas on what to do.
Yeah. Instagram, DMs, comments, YouTube, whatever.
And
send them our way.
All of them at Off the Bench Podcast or Off the Bench Pod. Yeah, I mean, it's been a fun little thing we started here. We'd like to keep it growing.
Yep, 100%.
So yeah, give us a follow, give us a subscribe, and keep watching our videos for more.
Yep. Cheers, guys.
See you later.